Have you ever wanted to learn to draw one of your favorite characters from Winnie the Pooh? Well, I'm here to show you how. My name is Randy Haycock, and I'm an animator here at Disney Animation Studios. I've worked on many classic Disney films like Aladdin, The Lion King, and Princess and the Frog. Most recently, I've been working on Winnie the Pooh, drawing Eeyore. So today I'd like to show you how to draw Eeyore at home. All you'll need is a pencil, some paper, maybe an eraser. I usually do. And if you get those things and you're ready to go, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing we do is draw a light, because some of these lines we're going to erase later on. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come down just a little bit, and we're going to draw an even bigger circle. Now we're going to connect these two circles with a couple of lines. First line's going to come off of this side of the circle, and we're going to curve it a little bit out. See that? Just like that, and then it'll meet that circle. We're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to curve out and meet the circle on that side. Now what this is Eeyore's head and Eeyore's nose. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a line right down the middle of this shape that makes it, kind of cuts it in half. And this is the seam on Eeyore's head, but it'll also help us with some other things, okay? And then we're going to connect those two lines with a little curvy line too. Now you see how we've made that into a more three-dimensional shape. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is figure out where his eyes go. And they're going to sit right on the bottom of this circle up here. And we're going to make little oval shapes with those eyes. Pretty close to that center line. Did you know that Eeyore tries on no less than 17 tails in this movie? That's a lot. All right, do you see that? Now his ears are kind of shaped like a banana leaf. I don't know if you know what a banana leaf looks like, but they're kind of big leaf shaped. So we just draw a curvy line out this way, and then draw another curvy line up this way, and then we draw this line kind of coming off of this outside line, and then it comes up into here, and that's an ear. And curve down a little bit and then meet right behind there, but we're going to stop it there because it's going to go behind. And see how this makes it so we see the inside of the ear and the outside of the ear? We're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to bring a little line down here and meet the arc here. Just a little bit of a curve to it so that it kind of wraps around the round shape of his eye. We're going to do the same thing over on this side. Okay, we're going to draw this line up a little bit, and it's going to go just past the oval shape and curve around. And then we're going to draw another line that comes down from that shape and meets that eyelid, just like that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Follows that line, the oval shape, but then breaks off and goes a little higher at the top, and then from just inside that little hook at the end, we bring a line down and it meets that eyelid shape at the bottom. Now we got to draw his pupils in here. We're going to draw a little half circle right under that eyelid on both sides. Did you know that Eeyore's actual birthday is December 25th, 1921? That's the Christmas that A.A. Milne gave the stuffed donkey to his son, Christopher Robin. But in Austin, Texas, they celebrate it on the last Saturday of April every year. Starting at the eyelid over here, and we're going to draw a bigger half circle underneath, and it's going to come up and meet on the other side. And the same thing over on this side. I'll start this one from the inside. See, it doesn't matter if you start on this side or this side. So this side will start on the inside and go out this way. And the last part of Eeyore's eyes we have to draw is his eyebrows. And they're kind of dark and thick, and they curve a little bit. So if you can imagine an imaginary line that goes over the top of his eyes like that, and then you just draw those there. So now we can draw in the rest of his nose. We can follow that line that we drew all the way around the outside. But when we get down here, we're going to make that line just kind of go straight. curve just a little bit at the end to make a little frowny mouth. Do you see that? So we just went inside our circle just a little bit to make that little frowny mouth. And then we're going to draw his lower lip, and it's going to come off of this ear and then meet under that mouth. You can see here he has a lighter nose than the rest of his head, so we have a little line we're going to draw to show that. And that comes off right by that circle and kind of follows that circle right around, just like that. Okay, now we can draw in our seam, our center seam line there a little bit where he's sewn together. And to show that it's sewn, we're going to draw a couple little lines here and another little line down here closer to the lip to show that he's got stitches in there. His nostrils are going to come right across where that second stitch is, right there. And it's just a little oval shape, right about in the middle between this line and the center line. You can do the same thing here, just find about halfway between those two and draw. And if it's not perfect exact, it's okay. It doesn't have to be. And if you really don't like it, you can always erase it and draw it again. The best thing about drawing in pencil.
Did you know that the original voice of Eeyore was story artist Ralph Wright? In keeping with that tradition in our new production, we've hired story artist Bud Lucky to do the voice of Eeyore.
The last thing we got to draw is Eeyore's hair, Eeyore's mane. So we're going to take this line from the top of his head and we're going to let it curve really, and we're going to make a little neck line for him. This is the back of his neck. Okay? Now he has what they call a forelock, which is the hair, the bangs in the front, right? The hair that comes down over his face a little bit. And it's just a kind of like a crescent moon shape, right? So we draw that in, and then you can break it up by making little spiky shapes on it, right? Spiky things coming up off the top. So we're gonna draw a few of those. We'll draw one that's kind of crescent shaped here, and then we're just gonna draw some spiky shapes that are curved up like that. Draw two that curve the other way. And then you can just draw that line down, okay? That's Eeyore's mane. So the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and color in the mane because it's black, so we'll color it in dark. Try to stay in the lines, but if you don't stay perfectly in, it's okay if it goes out a little bit. And then I do the same thing with his eyelids because it makes him look like he is kind of, brings out his eyes a little bit more. So that is how you draw Eeyore. I hope you've had as much fun learning to draw Eeyore as I've had showing you. Remember, if your drawing's not perfect, it's okay. It takes a lot of practice. It's taken me a lot of practice. Just remember, keep drawing and have fun. We'll see you later.